Hey guys, this is Aubrey, and if you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. Steph from Steph Loves Life did a video earlier this week. It was a rapid fire reading tag video, and then Martha did a rapid fire home fragrance rapid fire video. So I'm gonna participate in both of those. So this first one is gonna be the reading one, and then this afternoon you'll probably see the home fragrance one. I was hesitant to do the reading one because I don't do a lot of reading for like pleasure. I do a lot of reading for research and just like trying to figure out things as far as finances and my family and food. So I do read some books. I belong to a book club where we read different books that don't fall into that category, but typically I never finish them by the time the book club comes around. But everybody in my book club knows that about me. So I thought, what the heck, I'll just participate, and maybe there's somebody out there in the community that reads kind of along the same lines as me, and they'll pick something up from what I'm sharing. Plus, it's just a good way to get to know a little bit more about me as a person. So we are going to start with question number 1, which is ebook or physical book. So I do have an ebook, and I do use this mostly for when I check out books from the library, because it just makes it easy. So I use the Libby app, and I just download onto my Kindle, and so that's what I use ebook for. But if I am actually like purchasing a book, then typically I like to have a physical book in my hands. And I really do, I use an ebook and I purchase physical books. If you're wanting to know like what I love, because I use both, but I prefer to have a physical book in my hands. There's just something about it for me that's very therapeutic, and it also forces me to stay focused in what I'm doing when I actually have like a physical book, and my family can actually see that I have a physical book in my hands. 80% of the time they'll leave me alone when I'm trying to read a book, but okay, maybe 70%. So yeah, that was very long-winded. Paper book or hardcover. So if it's a book that I'm using for like reference, I prefer hardcover, just because I feel like a hardcover holds up better over time. If it's just like something that I'm gonna read for entertainment and then pass along, because I do pass along all my books, then I prefer the paperback, just because they're a little bit cheaper, and you can bend them and whatever. Online or in-store book shopping. So for me, I prefer to go into Barnes and Nobles, and when I have the chance, when I have the time, I love going into Barnes and Nobles and just getting lost in the aisles. I can spend hours and hours and hours in a bookstore. Like I said, I don't read as much as I'd like to, but I do. I absolutely love reading. I love bookstores. And like, if you gave me, I don't even know that I could like do a comparison. I just enjoy going to a bookstore, taking my time, perusing all the titles and not being rushed. Like for me, that's kind of the important part, is having the time to just enjoy looking at all the books and figuring out what I'm going to purchase. Trilogy or series. So, yeah, fun facts about me. I have not read any trilogies or series. I definitely want to someday attempt to do that. So if anybody's watching this and you have a recommendation for a really good trilogy or series that you've enjoyed, then please put them in the description below and I will check them out. It might take me 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to do it, but I'm open to trying. Heroes or villains. So I know this sounds horrible, but I'm all about, like, in my real life, like in real life, I love heroes. I love people who do good and give back to their community and help others. But when I'm reading, and I feel like reading is kind of an escape, so to speak, so it's allowing you to go somewhere that's not real. I love a good villain. So yeah, I'm sticking to it. I do. When it comes to reading, I love a good villain. Book you want everyone to read. So there's an author that I have read. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar. Rachel Hollis. So she did Girl, Wash Your Face and Girl, Stop Apologizing. And I really enjoyed both of those books. I feel like as women, we tend to, I don't know, like for me, I know I'm always apologizing for things that are going on, and sometimes I feel like I am trying to tackle more than I can handle, or I feel that I need to be tackling more than I should handle. And I really like Rachel Hollis, and she just helps you kind of step back and say it's okay to not take on all the things and be okay with that. So yeah, that would be a book. Obviously that's more kind of geared to women, but if I had to pick a book that was unisex that I would like everybody to read, I would say that would be Who Moved My Cheese. That book came out years and years and years ago, but it's such a great book and this is something I struggle with a lot, and I find myself having to reread this book because change is very hard, and sometimes you can stick your heels in, and I feel like sometimes that can make things a little bit harder for us. So being able to adapt to change, for me, when I do it, it just makes things easier. And the book is a quick, like, I think you can read the whole entire book in like 30 minutes. It's a super quick read, but it's very impactful. So that would be my 2 suggestions. the last book you finished. So the last book that I finished is called The Gift of Failure. And The Gift of Failure is a book that helps us as parents. And it was recommended to read this at this stage in my son's age, because my son is going into middle school. So in my opinion, he's not a baby anymore. And I think, how do I want to put this? When our children are born, and I feel like up to like around 10 I think might be a little bit too old. I think I probably let it go a little too far, but whatever. None of us are perfect. We do a lot for our children because they're little. So, we feed them, we entertain them, we take care of them, we do all the things for our children. But at some point, we have to make that shift from doing everything for them to allowing them to grow as teenagers and eventually, moving into adults. And the book talks about basically when your kids, and they talk about middle school especially. Middle school is a really good time to allow your children to fail, basically, because when they fail, that's how they learn. So if we continue to do everything for our children and we never let them fail, eventually, as adults, they are going to fail, because they will be in a position where we as parents continue to nurture them and do everything for them. And then when they become adults, they don't really know what to do. And you have to, as parents, we have to learn how to make that shift. And that's what the book is about. So it's kind of helping me, who is one of those parents that I am more of the helicopter parent in my marriage. My husband's more laid back, and which I think that's good for my son, because he gets a little bit of both. But my son is getting older, and he needs to, he wants to do all these things that older children do, but he still wants me as his mom to do everything for him. So we're trying to maneuver this new stage of life. So yeah, that's the last book that I finished, and I highly recommend it if you have children that are 9, 10, 11, 12. It's never too late to start that process with your kids. Let's see. Recommend an underrated book. I honestly don't know how to answer that question. Underrated. I'm gonna have to just pass on this one, because I don't have an answer for that one. The last book you bought. So I probably am with like 50% of the population right now. But I bought the Let Them Theory, and I am absolutely loving this book. This book is eye-opening, and I really wish that this book had come out sooner. This Mel Robbins is the author, and she has a couple of other books. There's the 5-second rule. I'm trying to see if it shows, because sometimes yeah, so the 5-second rule, which is transforming your life, work, and confidence with everyday courage. Um, the I haven't heard of the other ones. And then she's got a few audiobooks, but the let them theory is basically just learning to be okay with other people and your relationships, and not allowing the relationships, whether they be good or bad, with other people overtake you, like the energy. So, for example, like if you have a toxic relationship, let's say with your neighbor, you just have to be able to, and this book talks about this and and like I said, I have not finished this book, but it's really good about just let them be who they are, and don't let yourself get consumed with how other people are. And we got Ray Ray coming in to join us again. Hey girl. Hey girl. Yeah, she's hanging out with mom today, so my kids at camp. So I'm like super excited that I could actually have time to do these videos. So anyways, it just talks about letting people be who they are and not allowing yourself to react or be affected because of how other people are. But it also talks in here about, it says, let them, let me. So you're allowing people to be who they are, and you're also allowing yourself to kind of set your boundaries for yourself so that you don't fall into the trap. So like I said, I just started this. I'm super excited for this book. I am hoping to get some things out of this because I definitely struggle. I am definitely a type of person who I struggle with letting things go, but I internalize everything. So yes, I am one of those people that I just let it build up, build up, build up, build up, and then I'm a volcano and I explode. And that's just not a good way to be. So excited about that book. Okay, let's move on. Weirdest thing I have used as a bookmark. I definitely would say either a credit card or a debit card. Sometimes I cannot find a bookmark. Typically, I don't use like a regular bookmark. Typically, I just use a paper clip. So I just take the paper clip and clip the page that I'm on. But sometimes I can't find that either. And so if my purse is right by the couch where I sit, I'll just grab my credit card or my debit card and stick it in the book. And that works perfectly fine for me. Used books, yes or no? Absolutely. We have a place here in town called Grassroots Books, and they do like a sale of, like, you can fill a bag for $5. So I don't get over there a lot. I used to go over there a lot when my kiddo was younger, and we used to get kid books all the time. But now that my reading preferences are a little bit more, like, as you can see, research type books, I have a harder time finding what I'm looking for over there. But when I'm in the want for just some light reading, Grassroots is a great place to get a bunch of books. And also the book club that I belong to, we all trade books all the time. Top 3 favorite genres. So I would say finance. I'm obsessed with finance, personal finance, business finance, anything that has to do with money. I am pretty much obsessed with. I love self-help. So, anything like this that's going to help me to be a better person. I definitely enjoy reading. And then, like, just from a pleasure standpoint, because I do read some things just for pleasure. So if I'm looking to read something for pleasure, I definitely like a good mystery book. So that would be my top 3 genres. Borrow or buy. I'm good with either. I'm good with buying them. I'm good with borrowing them. I'm good with lending them. I'm good with giving them away. The only time that I think that borrowing for me is a little not okay is typically like if I have a book like this. Like, I'm not going to borrow this from someone because I'm going to highlight the heck out of this book and I'm going to want to be able to reference it. So I'm not going to borrow something like this. I would definitely buy something like this. Character or plot? I think I could go either way. If it's a good plot, then, if the plot is horrible, then hopefully there's a good character, and vice versa. So either way, I'm not super picky with that one. Long or short? So I definitely prefer short. I have a hard time with longer books just because of my time and my own time management. So I'm definitely a shorter rather than long. Long or short chapters. So fun fact about me, I like short chapters because I like to do things in between chapters. So I will read a chapter and then I'll go fold some laundry. Then I'll come back and I'll read a chapter and then I'll go cook dinner. Then I will read a chapter and then go hang out with my son, or read a chapter and watch a little TV with my husband. Very rarely do I have an opportunity to sit down and just read a book with no interruptions. The only way that I really could do that is in the evenings. I could go in the office and just shut the door and read, but I'm also trying to not seclude myself from my family too much. So a couple years ago, I would save my reading in the evenings. So I would wait till 10 o'clock at night when everybody's going to bed, and then I would stay up for an hour or an hour and a half and read. But then I was finding myself to be tired. So right now, in the chapter that I am in my life, I just don't have a lot of time to sit down and just read a book. So, maybe, as my son gets a little bit older and doesn't want to hang out with me so much anymore, then, things might change. But for right now, this is where I'm at. So give me short chapters so I can get other things done around the house. Okay, first 3 books you think of. Well, let's see. So, Who Moved My Cheese? The Let Them Theory, because that's what I'm reading right now. And then Flowers in the Attic. V.C. Andrews is the first author that I ever, as a child, started really getting into reading. And I love anything by V.C. Andrews. So those are my 3 books. books that make you laugh or cry. Well, we are just in a world, we are just in a kind of, I don't know, I feel like ever since COVID, we've just been in like a weird kind of state where people are secluding themselves. We've slowly come out of it. We've got a lot of political things going on in the world. And so if I'm going to pick something that's not like research or self-help or finance, and it's just going to be like easy, light reading, then I definitely want something that's going to make me laugh, because right now, like, I don't need anything else to be making me cry. So definitely right now, I would say anything that makes me laugh, for sure. Our world or fictional world, I mean, I think that most of the stuff that I read about is based on real world. But like I said, if I'm reading for fun, then I'm totally fine with a fictional world. Audiobooks, yes or no? Absolutely not. I am a squirrel, if you haven't noticed. I tend to bop around doing all kinds of things. And so I find that with audiobooks, I can't focus. Like, I just can't sit and listen, because I feel like I'm listening. It's kind of like listening to the radio or something like that. I don't comprehend what's being said because I find myself doing other things, and then I find myself having to rewind and re-listen. So for me, audiobooks don't work, and it's a bummer, because I would really like to figure out how to get audiobooks to work for me, because I know that I could listen to way more books than I could possibly read. So I don't know, maybe I just need to figure out how to figure that out at some point, but for right now in my life, it's a hard no. Let's see. Judge a book by its cover. Heck yeah. And I know that's so wrong to do, but you know, I just do. Like, sometimes when you're at the bookstore or whatever, like if it's something that's being borrowed, I could care less about the cover. But when I am at the bookstore, like at Barnes and Nobles, and I'm just perusing the aisles, I definitely will look at a cover, and based on that cover, will judge if I'm going to read a book or not. Is it good, bad, indifferent? I don't know. Whatever. Book to movie or book to TV adaptation. So I'm going to say both. I do like when a book is turned into a movie or a TV series. And it's interesting because I want to talk about this question and the next question, because they kind of go together. So the next question is book to movie to book or book to TV adaptation better. Okay, so in my opinion, I love books that get turned into either a TV series or a movie. Have I ever watched a movie or a TV show that I felt was better or as good as the book? Never. Like, I think that when you read a book, the great thing about reading a book is your own imagination. So you have an idea of that character, and I mean, the storyline doesn't change too much, but like, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you read a book, you create this vision in your mind of the people, what's happening, and then obviously when someone else comes along and turns it into a movie or a TV show, it's their vision. And very rarely do those two line up. So, like, for example, Firefly Lane. The book I totally enjoyed. When I watched the TV series, like, I seriously was like, did they even read the book? I mean, it was so far off. Like, I actually got a little, like, irritated because I was like, it's so far off. Like, I just couldn't, I couldn't figure it out. So, yeah, I do like I said, I do like books that are turned into movie or in TV, but I never think that they get justice or they're better. Never ever. And then last is to tag someone. So I don't really know of anyone on YouTube that reads like I do, for research. So I'm just going to throw out a general tag. If you are someone that tends to read more finance, self-help, that type of reading like I do, then please do a video, because I would love to see what you're reading and what's having an impact on your life. And I just want to say thanks to Steph for doing this video. And I think Steph was tagged by Chris, so I'm definitely going to go check out Chris's video today and see what her answers were. And then you guys will see me again in the same clothes, same background, same everything. I'm going to do my home fragrance tag, and by the time all these videos are done, it'll be time to go pick up my kid from camp. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.